So, good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about standard cases pertaining to simply supported beam. Now, as the name itself implies, this beam is provided with end supports. That means the ends of the beam are provided with supports. Left end of the beam is provided with one support, and right end of the beam is also provided with another support. So as a whole, the beam is provided with end supports. So therefore, it is called as a simply supported beam. Now, in this section, we have to discuss about the various types of loads acting on simply supported beam, and thereby we have to construct shear force and bending moment diagrams for different conditions. Generally, loads are classified into two different categories, namely point loads and uniformly distributed loads. So, as the name itself implies, if the entire load is concentrated at one particular point, it is called as point load or concentrated load, and capital W is used for representing point loads, and generally point load is expressed in terms of newtons or in terms of kilonewtons. And secondly, sometimes the load will be distributed uniformly or evenly for the entire length of the beam, or sometimes it will be distributed uniformly for a certain length of the beam. So in both the cases, it is called as uniformly distributed load, and small w is used for indicating uniformly distributed loads, and generally this load is generally expressed in terms of Newton per meter, or also it can be expressed in terms of kilonewtons per meter. So friends, UDL, we have two varieties of UDL. In some cases, UDL will be acting for the entire length of the beam, and in some cases, this UDL will be acting only for a certain length of the beam. So in both the cases, the load is distributed uniformly for either for a certain length or for the entire length of the beam. So therefore, by and large, they are referred to as uniformly distributed loads. So in this section, we have to construct shear force and bending moment diagrams for point load acting on a simply supported beam. And also we have to construct diagrams for UDL or uniformly distributed load, which is acting for the entire length of the beam. So friends, we are going to discuss about these two topics in this session. So friends, we can see the arrangement of a simply supported beam in these two figures. So we can see the supports. So generally these beams are provided with end supports. So we can see the end supports of the beam. So this is one support is provided at the left end of the beam, and another support is provided at the right end of the beam. So therefore, it is called as simply supported beam. And similarly, we can see a support at left end of this beam. Also, we can see another support provided at the right end of the beam. So this is also referred to as a simply supported. Now, friends, coming to the loads, here a point load is acting at the center of the beam. So we have to make calculations and construct shear force and bending moment diagrams. And similarly, in this case, UDL is acting for the entire length of the supported beam. So here also we have to make calculations and prepare shear force and bending moment diagrams. So we are going to discuss about these two topics in this particular session. Now back to the first case. So as I've already told you, a point load is acting at the center of the beam. So this left end can be denoted with letter point A, and right end of the beam can be denoted by point B, and the midpoint of the beam, that is center of the beam, can be denoted by point C. So friends, this point load is acting at the center of the beam as shown in the figure, that is at a point C. It is acting in vertical direction. So generally all the beams will be arranged in horizontal position, and loads will be acting in vertical direction, that is perpendicular direction, or in a direction that is perpendicular to the axis of the beam. So this point load is acting in vertical direction, and also it is acting in downward direction. And as informed earlier, this capital W is used for indicating the point load acting on the beam, and this is expressed either in terms of newtons or in terms of kilonewtons. And secondly, we can see the length of the beam. That means the distance between both the ends of the beam. So naturally, it gives us the total length of the beam. And capital L or small l is generally used for indicating the total length of the beam. So this length of the beam, generally it is referred to as a span, and it is expressed either in terms of meters or in terms of centimeters, or sometimes in terms of millimeters. So generally, the length of any beam, the length of any beam will be expressed generally either in terms of meters or in terms of centimeters. So now we have divided the beam into two portions. The first portion called as AC, and the second portion is called as CB. So now AB is equivalent to, small l. So therefore, AC will be equivalent to L by 2, and at the same time, CB will be also equivalent to L by 2. That means the point load is acting at the center of the beam. So therefore, AC will be equivalent to L by 2, and on the other hand, CB will be also equivalent to L by 2. So this way, we have to divide the length of the beam into several portions. That means we have to prepare shear force and bending moment equations. So it will be different. These equations will be different for different portions. So generally, therefore, for making these calculations, beams are, the length of the beams, the length of the beam is generally divided into 2 or 3 portions. Now, in this case, this is a standard case. We are dealing with the fundamental cases. So therefore, here the beam is divided into, two portions. The first portion denoted by AC, and the second portion denoted by CB. So this division of the length of the beam, division of the beam into different portions, that is very, very essential for preparing SF and BM equations. And ultimately, they are very, very essential for construction of shear force and bending moment diagrams. So friends, the first figure, it is called as loading diagram, so which indicates various loads acting on the top of the beam. And the second figure indicates shear force diagram. The last one for indicating bending moment diagrams. So generally, loading diagram will be given in the problem. So we have to divide the beam into different portions. We have to prepare equations for shear force and bending moments. And we have to get the values. And finally, we have to construct, make the construction of shear force and bending moment diagrams. Now, secondly, this is, as I've already told you, we are talking about simply supported beam. So the beam is provided with the end supports. So they are, called as reactions. These end supports will be offering certain amount of reactions for withstanding various loads acting on the beam in downward direction. So therefore, they are called as reactions or reaction forces. So reaction force at point A, that is denoted by RA, R suffix A, and reaction offered at point B, that is called as RB, R suffix B. So RA and RB, they are referred to as reaction forces offered by the end supports of the beam. Now, friends, these forces are very, very essential for preparing, shear force and bending moment diagrams. So therefore, before starting the problem, we have to calculate the values of RA and RB. So this will not happen in the case of cantilever, but in the case of simply supported beam, before starting the problem, we have to measure the values of RA and RB. Very, very essential, very much required for preparing shear force and bending moment equations. So friends, before starting a problem on simply supported beam, we have to measure the values of RA and RB. They are referred to as, reaction forces. Now, for this purpose, for measurement of RA and RB, so we have to use two conditions of equilibrium. One is sigma V is equivalent to 0. The other one, sigma M, is equivalent to 0. That means sigma V is equivalent to 0. It implies that sum of all downward forces will be equivalent to sum of upward forces. Now, friends, RA and RB are acting in upward direction. They are called as upward forces. And W is acting, point load is acting in downward direction. So it's called as a downward force. Now, by equating these two values, we will be getting an equation. That is, that equation will be RA plus RB will be equivalent to W. So upward forces written on the left hand side of the equation, downward forces written on the right hand side of the equation. So we are equating these two terms. Therefore, RA plus RB will be equivalent to capital W so far as this diagram, this case is concerned. Now, friends, secondly, we have to take moments about a point A, that is sigma M about a point A will be equivalent to 0. So we are using the second condition of equilibrium. Now, in this case, sum of clockwise moments will be equivalent to sum of anti-clockwise moments. So, therefore, clockwise moments are written on one side of the equation. The anti-clockwise moments are written on the other side of the equation. So, by doing so, RB into small l can be made equivalent to capital W into L by 2. So this RB moment obtained by RB is acting in anti-clockwise direction, and the moment obtained by capital W, it is forming and clockwise. It is acting in clockwise direction. So we are equating these two terms. So therefore, RB into small l, it is written as capital W into L by. So friends, by simplifying this equation, RB will be obtained as capital W by 2. Now you substitute the value of RB in the first equation. So RA will be obtained, and also it will be also obtained as capital W by. So friends, therefore here RA is written as, in the diagram, RA is written as capital W by 2. And similarly, RB is also written as capital W by. So friends, this measurement of RA and RB values are very, very essential for preparing shear force and bending moment equations. Now, secondly, as I have already told you, the beam has to be divided at least into two portions. We have done it already. So it is divided into AC, two portions. The first one called as AC and the second one called as CB. Now for writing equations, always in any problem, in any kind of beam, we have to start from the right hand side of the beam and we have to proceed in reverse direction. Ultimately, we have to reach the left hand side of the beam. So therefore, the CB portion must be, firstly, CB portion must be considered for preparing SF and VM equations. And finally, AC portion will be, considered for preparing SF and VM diagrams. Now, secondly, in any portion, while dealing with any portion, we have to consider a vertical section XX at a distance of X meter from the right end of the beam. And after that, we have to consider all the forces available at the right hand side of the section for writing shear force and bending moment equations. And secondly, we have to fix the limits for each and every portion of the beam, that is lower limits and upper limits. So for CB portion, a lower limit has to be taken, naturally it has to be taken as 0. We are measuring from point B. So B to B it is 0. The upper limit must be taken as L by 2. And similarly, while dealing with the AC portion, the lower limit will be taken as L by 2 and upper limit will be taken as L meters. So considering a section and taking the forces on the right hand side of the section and preparing the equations, fixing limits for each and every portion and substituting these values in the main equation. So ultimately we get the values of shear forces and bending moments at different portions or at different points in the beam. And you take all these values, we can very easily construct these diagrams. Take all the values of shear forces and prepare shear force diagram. Take all the values of bending moments and we can prepare bending moment diagrams. Now friends, for both these diagrams, we have a baseline. We can see a baseline. This is the baseline for shear force diagram and this is the baseline for bending moment diagram. The positive values must be plotted above the baseline of diagrams. values, and negative values must be plotted below the baseline of diagrams. So friends, these are the rules to be followed while preparing SF and BM equations, and also for constructing shear force and bending moment diagrams. So friends, now we have to discuss about the point load acting at the center of the beam. So a beam is provided with supports at point A and supports at point B. So that means point A refers to the left end of the beam and point B refers to the right end of the beam. And midpoint of the beam is denoted with letter C. So AB is equivalent to, that will be equivalent to small l. So therefore, AC will be equivalent to L by 2 and CB will be also equivalent to L by 2. We have talked about reaction forces offered at end supports RA and RB. And here we have the point load that is acting at the center of the beam and midpoint of the beam, so denoted by capital W, expressed in either in newtons or in kilonewtons. And finally, small l for representing the total length of the beam, or it is called as a span of the beam, that is expressed in meters or in centimeters or in millimeters. Depends upon the data that is given in the problem. So we have to select any one of these units, appropriate units for indicating these values. So friends, as I've already told you, calculation of reactions within brackets reaction forces, very essential for even leave alone solving the problem. For starting the problem, calculation of reaction forces, very important. Reaction force at point A, just simply called as RA. The reaction force at a point B, offered at a point B, so that is called as RB. Friends, I have told you about the conditions of equilibrium. Of course, we have three conditions of equilibrium. Sigma H is equivalent to 0, sigma V is equivalent to 0, sigma M is equivalent to 0. But in this case, we need only these two conditions, namely sigma V and sigma M. So we are taking the first condition, that is sigma V. So we are equating upward forces with downward forces. Upward forces written the left hand side of the equation, RA and RB are acting in upward, will be acting in upward direction. Downward forces, we have only one point load at the center of the beam acting in downward direction. So this is written on the right hand side of the equation. So we are getting an equation in terms of RA and RB. So therefore, friends, RA using this rule or using the first condition of equilibrium, RA plus RB can be written as capital W. And secondly, we have to use the second condition of equilibrium, that is sigma M. We have to use the this particular equation. So for writing this equation, we have to take, we have to write, anti-clockwise movements on the left-hand side of the equation. We have to write all the anti-clockwise movements on the left-hand side of the equation, all the clockwise movements on the right-hand side of the equation. and we have only one anti-clockwise movement and one clockwise movement so far as our case is concerned. So this is written on the left hand side of the equation, anti-clockwise movement, that's written on the left hand side of the equation, and this is written on the right hand side of the equation. So RB into L, it is written as capital W into L by 2. So both the L's are getting cancelled, so you will be left with W by 2. So friends, RB is obtained as W by 2. Now you substitute the value of RB in the first equation. RA is ultimately also, given as also it's obtained as W by 2. So friends, using these fundamentals, using the conditions of equilibrium, we are measuring the values of RA and RB. Without measuring the values of RA and RB, we cannot solve problems on simply supported beam. It is not possible to write shear force and bending moment equations. So without writing equations, we will not be in a position to construct SF, shear force and bending moment. So friends, for starting the problem, leave alone solving the problem, for starting the problem, we need the values of RA and RB. So we have to use these conditions and prepare two equations. Automatically, ultimately, we will be will be in a position to get the values of RA and RB. So RB is obtained as a W by 2 and RA, it is also obtained as a W by 2. So friends, this is the importance of calculating reaction forces so far as simply supported beam is concerned. Now, friends, we are going to write, equations, and ultimately we have to prepare SF and BM equations. As I've already told you in the beginning of the class, we have to consider a section XX at a distance of X meter from point B, and we have to consider all the forces acting on the right hand side of the section. And we have already fixed the limits for this portion. Lower limit is fixed as 0 and upper limit will be fixed as L by 2. And making all these arrangements, friends, we can write SF and BM equations. So we are considering a section at CB portion, XX at CB portion at a distance of X meter from point B. So only one force, that is RB, is acting in upward direction. So negative symbol must be allotted to forces acting in upward direction. It is written as we are using minus symbol. And RB is in the last slide, we got it as W by 2. So simply it is SF, it is given as minus W by 2. So friends, this is the way of writing SF equation as far as CB portion is concerned. Now coming to the bending moment, you have to multiply this force with total distance, that is the distance between the section and right end of the beam. So that is given as a small x. So your force into perpendicular distance. So this is the magnitude of force and this is the value of a perpendicular distance. So we are multiplying these two terms. Now this reaction is offered in upward direction. So therefore the beam will have tendency to move in anti-clockwise direction. So this is resulting in anti-clockwise movement. So always a positive plus symbol must be allotted for anti-clockwise movement. So therefore it is written as W by 2 plus W by 2 into small x. So this is acting in upward direction. We are allocating negative symbol. This is acting in anti. This is resulting in anti-clockwise movement. So therefore we are using plus symbol. So friends, we have to be very careful while using the forces and writing these formulas, and also very careful while allotting signs for shear force and bending moment. So this is acting in upward direction, you are allocating negative sign. This is resulting in anti-clockwise movement, you are allocating positive sign. Now friends, you take these limits, x is equal to 0. So substitute the value, take the value of x as a 0 and substitute in these two equations. So we get the first set of values. SF will be obtained. SF is independent of x, so therefore it is obtained as minus w by 2. And this will be obtained as 0, w by 2 into 0, that will be coming to 0. And again, next, secondly, take the value of x as L by 2 and put it in these equations. So it is obtained again, it is independent of x, it is obtained as minus w by 2. And here you should take the value of L by 2 and put it in the equation. This is obtained as W L by 4. So this is the way of writing first, obtaining first set of values, and this is the way of obtaining second set of values. You take the lower limit, we get the first set of SF and PM values. You take the upper limit, we get the second set of SF and PM values. So friends, this is the way of considering section, writing equations, and putting plus and minus symbols as per general rules, fixing the limits and making substitutions and getting the SF and PM values. So all these activities to be done for each and every portion of the beam. So friends, these are the values so far as CV portion is concerned. Now friends, coming to the AC portion, again we are considering section XX at a distance of X meter from point B, and we are considering all the forces acting on the right hand side of the section. And the limits are fixed as L by 2 and small L by 2, and L lower limit has to be fixed as L by 2 because it is at a distance of L by 2 from point B. Upper limit has to be naturally, it has to be fixed as a small L. So it is at a distance of L meter from point B. So we are fixing the limits. Now for writing the equation, we, as told in the previous slide, we have to consider all the forces acting on the right hand side of the section. Now if you consider section XX at a portion AC, friends, one force, reaction force RB is acting in upward direction, and point load, it is acting in downward direction. So therefore minus symbol is given for upward force and plus symbol is allotted for downward force. Magnitude of upward force is W by 2, that is RB, as discussed in the previous slides. RB is obtained as W by 2, so it is written as minus W by 2. The magnitude of the point load is capital W, so it is written as a capital W. So by doing, simplifications, SF is obtained as plus W by 2. And similarly, now we have to write a bending moment equations. So this is written as W by 2 into small x. It is at a distance of, it is taken at a distance of X meter from point B. So therefore it is written as W by 2 into small x. Now this will be at a distance of X minus L by 2. So therefore this distance is taken as X minus L by 2. So we are multiplying W by 2 with the small x and the capital W with X minus L by 2. This is resulting in anti-clockwise movement. We are putting upward force resulting in anti-clockwise movement. We are putting positive symbol, and this is resulting in clockwise movement. We are putting a negative symbol. So it is obtained as follows. Now friends, take the value of x as L by 2 and substitute in these equations. We get the first set of SF and VM values. Take the value of x as L and substitute in these equations. We get a second set of SF and VM values. So friends, SF is obtained as plus W by 2. Here also it is plus W by 2. And in this case, the first value of Bm is obtained as WL by 4. And this is second value, it is obtained as 0. So now friends, you take all the values of SF, all SF and Bm values of all the portions. Very easily we can construct SF and Bm diagrams. Now here we are, talking, here we are discussing about point loads. So therefore, straight lines must be used at SF diagram, and inclined lines must be used at BM diagram. So friends, we can see these values. We got all these values. So as minus W by 2, this is minus W by 2. And again at the same point, we got it as plus W by 2. And at end point, we got it as again plus W by 2. So we have to prepare the SF diagram in this particular fashion. So these are negative values. Minus symbol is written in this box or rectangle that is coming below the baseline, and plus symbol is written in this rectangle that is coming above the baseline. So negative values will be coming below the baseline, and the positive values will be coming above the baseline. So we'll be in a position to construct, the SF and BM diagrams in this particular fashion. And now, friends, we have measured values of bending moment at different points. At x is equivalent to 0, we got it as 0. And at this point, we got it as 0. And at the midpoint, we got it as WL by 4. And we have to use inclined lines. Here we are using, it's a point load. So therefore, we have to use straight lines for SF diagram and inclined lines. This is one inclined line and this is another inclined line. So straight lines will be coming in SF diagram. It can be horizontal or vertical, horizontal and vertical. The inclined line will be coming in the case of bending moment diagrams. So we got positive values so far as bending moment is concerned. We got positive values, either 0 or positive values. So therefore, the entire, totally the whole diagram is coming on the above the baseline of BM diagram. Here we are having some negative values and some positive values. So therefore, a part of the diagram is coming below the baseline, a part of the diagram is coming above the baseline. But here we have only positive values so far as bending moment is concerned. So therefore, complete the total diagram will be, prepared, has to be prepared above the baseline. So friends, this is the way of preparing equations, making calculations, and ultimately this way we are in a position to construct shear force and bending moment diagrams. So friends, similarly, we can talk about UDL, that is acting for the entire length of the beam. So it is the beam in the second figure as shown. We can see this is second figure. Now we are going to talk about second figure. So the UDL is acting for the entire length of the beam. So we have to use the same rules as done in the first case. So selection of AC, CB, reaction forces, indication of UDL, indication of the total length of the beam. So that and all we have to make as usual. So now again we have to measure the values of RA and RB. So again, we have to take these two conditions. So RA and RB will be acting in upward direction. UDL will be acting in downward direction. So for 1 meter, the magnitude of UDL is small w. UDLs are represented by small w. So therefore, for L meters, it will be equivalent to WL. So friends, RA plus RB, it is written as WL. Now again, we are taking the second condition of equilibrium and equating anti-clockwise and clockwise movements. So RB into L, it is obtained as WL into L by 2. So we are converting UDL into point load as WL. Naturally, it will be acting at the center of the beam. So therefore, this distance has to be taken as L by 2. So this is clockwise movement and this is forming anti-clockwise movement. So they are written on different sides of the equation. Now we solve this, simplify this equation, RB will be obtained as WL by 2. And as done in the first case, substitute this value in the first equation, again we get the value of RA. So friends, RB will be obtained as a small WL by 2 and RA will be also obtained as a small WL by. So reaction, calculation of reaction forces, whether it is point load or uniformly distributed load, calculation of reaction forces very, very essential before starting problems on simply supported. So we have made calculations in the first case and on these lines we have to make the calculations so far as UDLs are concerned. So now friends, we have to follow the same procedure which we have done in the first case. So we have to follow the same procedure. So we are considering a section XX at X meter from point B, and we have to consider all the forces acting on the right hand side of the section, and we are fixing the limits. Now there is no additional forces are not coming in the second portion, so therefore limits can be straight away, it can be fixed as 0 and L by 2. Now we have to write this SF equation. We are considering a section XX at a distance of X meter from point B. So friends, reaction force is acting in upward direction, so that is equal to WL by 2, and we have to allocate minus symbol, so therefore it is written as minus WL by 2. And in addition to this, this UDL is acting for a distance of X meter, so therefore it is written as WX. So it is acting in downward direction, so we are allocating positive symbol. So friends, as a whole, SF is written as minus WL by 2 plus WX, so far as this arrangement is concerned. Now coming to the bending moment, we have to multiply this force with a perpendicular distance that will be equivalent to small x. Section is at a distance of X meter from point B, so it is written as WL by 2 into small x. And now this is, as far as this is concerned, we have converted the UDL of W into point load, that is as WX. So point load will be acting at the midpoint of this distance, that is X meter. So therefore it is written the distance, it has to be taken as X by 2. So we did the same thing in the previous slide. So WL by 2, it is written as WL by 2 into small x in the first case. In the second case, it is written as WX into X by 2. Now this is the upward force resulting in anti-clockwise movement. We are putting a positive symbol. So this is a downward force resulting in clockwise movement. So we are putting negative symbol. So friends, allocation of symbols very, very important. Upward force, negative symbol; downward force, positive symbol; anti-clockwise movement, positive symbol; clockwise movement, negative symbol. So these things are very, very important. If you put instead of a plus symbol, you are putting minus symbol, or vice versa. you will miserably, you will be, going wrong in the examinations. So now friends, we can fix 3 limits because it is taken as a total a single unit. No additional forces are acting in the second portion. So we can take 3 limits. X is equivalent to 0, X is equivalent to L by 2, X is equivalent to L meters. So take these values and substitute in these equations. We get first set of SF BM values, the second set of values, and a third set of values. So friends, as a whole, at X is equivalent to 0, this SF will be equivalent to minus WL by 2. And second point, it will be equivalent to 0. And the third point, again, it will be equivalent to plus WL by 2. And similarly, bending first value will be, as far as bending moment is concerned, first value will be 0. Second value will be plus WL square by 8. And third value will be equivalent to 0. So friends, take the values of 3 values of SF and prepare SF diagram. Take these 3 values of bending moment and prepare bending moment diagram. Now this is, we are talking about UDL that is acting on this particular beam. So therefore inclined lines must be used for preparing SF diagram, and parabolas, curves must be used for preparing bending moment diagram. So friends, before closing the session, let us make a note of all these things. Let us observe all these values in the diagram as given in the first slide. So we are going back to that figure. So here it is, so you can take those values of SF and bending moment. So first value is obtained as minus so so first value is obtained as minus WL by 2. It is marked below the baseline. The second value is obtained as 0. So it is marked on the baseline. Third value is obtained as positive. It is marked above the baseline. So this magnitude is representing W minus WL by 2. This is representing plus WL by 2. So we are using inclined line for joining these 2 points. And of course, vertical lines for joining these points with the baseline. So this is the negative region coming below the baseline. So minus symbol is shown in this triangle, and this is the positive. These are the positive values coming above the baseline. So plus symbol is written in this triangle. So similarly, friends, as far as bending moment values are concerned, we got first value of bending moment as 0. The last value is also, we got it as 0. And at L by 2, at the midpoint of the beam, it is obtained as L square by 8. So this distance is marked as WL square by 8. It's a positive value. So all the values are either 0 or positive. They are coming above the baseline. And now we have to prepare the diagram. For preparing diagram, in the case of UDL, we have to use parabolas. So therefore, a curve is used for joining, all these points. We are getting bending moment in this particular fashion. So friends, these are the fundamental cases, basic cases, standard cases as far as this simply supported beams are concerned. So we have discussed about all these cases and how to measure the values of reaction forces, how to use the conditions of equilibrium, how to measure the values of reaction forces, how to consider sections, and thereby how to prepare the equations, how to fix the limits, lower and upper limits, and how to measure the values of SF shear forces and bending moments. Ultimately, how to prepare, how to construct SF and BM diagram. So that and all we have discussed in this particular session. So finally, in the case of a point load, straight lines will be coming in SF diagram and inclined lines will be coming in the BM diagram. Similarly, in the case of UDLs, inclined lines will be coming in SF diagram. The parabolas, curves will be coming in bending moment diagram. So friends, we have to remember all these rules and regulations for preparing equations and construction of this diagrams. So friends, thank you all. Thank you so much for watching the section. Thank you.